Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video unboxing and first impressions of the ENL W5. This is an Android smartphone which is unlocked and sells for $90 online. Now, it features a 4-inch TFT LCD display in addition to a quad-core processor coupled with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of built-in flash storage expandable via micro SD. It may seem a little bit low spec, but that's because the main emphasis of the W5 is on being a rugged phone. This is a trend we are seeing more and more here in the smartphone industry of 2017, with flagships needing to be waterproof, dustproof, etc. And the W5 does exactly that. It's definitely catered at a relatively niche audience, folks who want something that won't break if they drop it. They want something shockproof, dustproof, military specified, and at a relatively low price point at that. So you can see that it has all of these certifications in addition to being scratch proof and antiseptic, so if you drop it in salt it should still survive, and it flaunts its rugged design very obviously with its color choice as well as rather large bezels. But again, it's supposed to be 3 proof, and the 3 is waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. So let's take a quick look at what the packaging contains. Right on top we have just the W5. Let's take a closer look at this in a second. Underneath the phone we have all of the accessories. The first pouch looks like it contains the documentation, and indeed we have the instruction manual and warranty guide. Next we have the full user manual, which is documented in color. You can see all the flaps are covered up by rubber just to prevent water from leaking in. By the way, this is running on Android 6.0 Marshmallow, so not quite 7.0 Nougat, but nonetheless you still have all the most up-to-date games and apps from the Play Store. And here we have a micro USB data cable, pretty standard stuff for charging and syncing information. And we also have a included pair of headphones, which is nice. It does have a full-size 3.5mm jack, which is nice to note. It looks like a fairly traditional pair of earbuds, although it does have an inline remote control that you can see here, which features a microphone and also a key that you can tap on to play, pause your music, or answer and reject a phone call. So nice extra. Finally, we have access to the wall plug, which is just a traditional USB-based power lead that can plug into the wall that you can use to charge. So that's everything. So a pretty standard packaging. Let's take a closer look at the phone here. So we can see that the orange and black kind of design, a little reminiscent of the ZTE Open, which was the first Firefox phone. It's actually quite hefty just because of all the rubber accents and tempered glass screen that they're using here. We can see that there is a front-facing camera, there's an ambient light sensor, we have some basic IMEI info. This is a dual SIM phone, by the way. It's quad-band GSM, so it supports most regions in the world. Let's peel off this film. There we go. There are capacitive keys down below for home, back, and menu, and there's still a pre-applied kind of screen protector if you look very closely that protects the screen a little bit. On the back here, it looks like there is another film that we're going to remove that just tells us we have to use, it looks like, tweezers to remove the SIM card since it's quite recessed. And there's also, interestingly, it looks like dedicated keys for taking an image, launching the camera, and also launching the flashlight. So it's interesting that these have been programmed into the physical sides of the phone for quick shortcuts, maybe if you work in construction or you would want these features on board. Anyways, you can see the back of the phone is covered in a soft touch rubber material that has a nice texture, which makes it easy to grip. There's the ENL logo, which is made out of aluminum. The phone itself is unibody. It's one piece. The back plate cannot be removed. You can't actually remove the battery either or replace it. There's just the flaps on the sides for things like the micro SD card, for instance. Here's the 2-stage camera shutter key, the volume rocker. It's very stiff. You have to press quite hard. Everything here is in a thick rubber layer just to prevent shock. And the top here features the micro USB and 3.5mm headphone jack. The side here features the power key. Let's tap on this for a few seconds. The 2 SIM card trays, and then the flashlight key. So here's what the boot up sequence is like. Let's take a look at if there's any setup the first time we power it on. There should be a bit of juice remaining. And then the speaker is on the back. So unfortunately it's not front facing, but regardless, you can see that that's also where the camera lens is. I believe this is a 5-megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash, so camera quality should only be average and not the highlight of this phone. front camera here should be roughly 2 megapixels. Again, some of the main specs here, it's a quad-core chipset. It is a MediaTek chipset though, and not Snapdragon or Qualcomm. And again, 1 gig of RAM does seem a little low, but Android 6.0, if we have a relatively clean install, it should perform all right for your day-to-day tasks like answering phone calls, browsing the web, watching videos, things like that. It seems like there's no actual setup screen, which is very interesting. It looks like there's a very heavy skin on top of Android that makes it look a bit more utilitarian. There is that large widget clock that I can swipe up, and then this almost reminds me of iOS or like MIUI in a sense, because there's no main app drawer. It looks like everything is just scattered on these home screens, so you have essentially unlimited home pages to customize with widgets as well as applications. It seems like there are a few preloaded apps like Opera Mini, YouTube, Twitter, in addition to a few tools on here, so a flashlight, sound recorder, FM radio. In addition to a compass, there's also Google services that are pre-installed, File Manager, Chrome, and WeChat, which is more popular in Asia than in the States, as well as Yahoo Messenger that's pre-installed. So obviously not all of these are useful, but you can uninstall them if you want. Drag down notification shade has also seen significant tweaking. You can see that a lot of these shortcuts look quite different. Overall, I think it looks pretty clean. I think that for first-time smartphone users, it should be relatively easy to pick up and start using just right away. And indeed, we have Android 6.0, and it seems pretty snappy right now since we don't have much stuff installed. We'll obviously be doing a lot more testing with this phone and come out with a more complete review and also on its ruggedness, whether it holds up in more drop and shock tests. But for now, it does seem to operate pretty smoothly and seems like a decent option if you're looking for a low-cost, unlocked, rugged phone. Other alternatives on the market would be the Kyocera Hydro series. Some of the Hydro Turbo are also rugged phones and waterproof phones. But anyways, guys, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been our unboxing and first impressions look at the ENLW5, an Element-proof, rugged Android 6.0 4-inch touchscreen smartphone.